Welcome everyone, this is the 31 Days of Dread, and I am your host, Peter A. DeLuca, aka PAD, and this is where we do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. That's 30, if you can't count, that's 31 movies celebrating the greatest genre of them all, the greatest experimentational platform of them all, the greatest young filmmaker discoverer of them all. It is horror, 31 days coming at you. Look out, ghouls and ghosts, it gets spooky. Alright everyone, coming out of that intro hot, this is what I call the telethon portion of the podcast. This is where I pitch myself to you for your support. Your support means everything to me because we're fighting, the AKAPAD army is fighting against algorithms everywhere. Algorithms, I ate some cereal earlier today, I dumped it into my bowl and it was full of algorithms. Okay, bad joke. Alright. Sharing this podcast, telling your friends about it, leaving comments, leaving reviews. This is how we grow AKAPAD's audio audacity. Your support there is more valuable than anything other than like a high five in person, because I'd love a high five in person. AKAPADers, we are less than 1 hour away from October 5th, but it's October 4th, and welcome to day 4 of the 31 Days of Dread. We are talking The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, aka The Conjuring 3. Wrapping up what very well might be, I mean, the closest competition I would say is Scream, but this is like, it's a two-headed dragon as of the greatest horror trilogy of all time. Now, Scream goes through a resolution. It has an impactful ending. It has a payoff. Comments that they almost like pissed away said offhandedly early on in Scream 1 pay off in Scream 3. Now, what we have here is not exactly the same. These are 3 episodes strung together. But the conflict that these characters go through is built from the first movie, because it's, you know, like it's a swerve type of conflict, meaning, you know, we're going to possess the husband this time. We're not going to possess the wife. We're going to separate them. We're going to, you know, like draw them closer together by the end of the movie. Like, so, you know, it does have an effect on you because, you know, the first 2 movies kind of program you to think a certain way about, you know, the context of characters within the story. And The Conjuring 3 gives you a swerve, and rightfully so. And that's what makes it good. That's what makes it entertaining. That's what, you know, gives this movie, I think the streaming, like it bombed, bombed meaning good, like it dropped bombs. 3 million households, 20 million worldwide, you know, money-wise. $40 million budget, same budget as, you know, Conjuring 2. So, like, it's a undeniable hit. People love this format, and every time I watch this movie, like these movies, I get more into like the opening credits, the way how the title rolls, you know, like rolls vertically. They give us that little typed message setting up that this is a true story, and then the freaking credits. Holy crap, the credits for these movies, it's better and better because they give you like true audio, like real, like, oh, I don't want to research too much of this because I think it takes away the effect of the movie. But they give you like audio of the exorcism, and it's that's just some scary shit. And it's almost like, wow, like, even if it's 50% true, let's just say of the 3 Conjuring movies, if they're 50% true, that means the other like half that is true, it's freaky stuff, and this whole movie revolves around like a person that was let out of prison because they were able to prove that he was possessed. He commits murder. He's a murderer. And then they spend all this time building a case that proving that he was possessed when he committed the murder. It's crazy, and the dude spent like 5 years in prison. Now, along the way, what we have almost like our Indiana Jones, like James Bond moment where when we're introduced, like real one, scene one, act one. We're almost like at the end of one adventure while the next adventure is picking up. This is the James Bond, the Indiana Jones formula where like as soon as the credits stop rolling or like the opening, whatever, like boom, like we're right in the middle of something, and we're right in the middle of this exorcism that's possessing this boy. And oh my god, like the stuff that they do with him on the table, and the kids contorting and stabbing people in the leg and trying to stop hearts, and it's just crazy. And it fits because that's exactly why we're here. And this movie kind of moves against type because it gives us the exorcism like right up front. And then it's like, oh, like where are we going with this now? And it is a psychological thriller. It's part detective story, but the psychological part at the end of this movie is as well stacked as like Jacob's Ladder. That's immediately what came to mind. Like somewhat Event Horizon, where like we don't know up from down. Like we're almost like in a dream, very I don't have to reference the Dream movies, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's well thought out, it's well planned. Now, my one criticism, it's that there's maybe too many of these. It diverges too much. It's a little too often, and it does take us a little bit out of what we're expecting the flow of the movie to be. This is the observation from before. We want to kind of subvert tropes, but we need tropes to bring the audience along. And when we don't have enough tropes, like you do have that yearning, that little itch of a disappointment. But in all, visually, this movie's amazing. The trippiness is there. The emotional struggle is there. We're rooting for everyone. It's there, people. The Conjuring, and you're like, man, it's tough. I would still put Scream 1, 2, and 3 just ahead of this. Like, oh. But it's not by much. I don't know if there's another, but like if there's a better trilogy out there. But it's hard for me to call this a trilogy. It's a string of sequels. Oh, I'm so divided. But everyone, 31 Days of Dread. Tomorrow, October 5th. I do recommend this movie. I recommend all 3 Conjurings. We're talking The Nun. This is my Boba Fett movie that I threw into this stack after I saw Conjuring 2, yesterday's movie. I haven't seen it yet, so I have to run out there, go watch The Nun, freak myself out, and come back and hopefully report a good origin story to you. Everyone, thanks for hanging out. I love you. Rock and roll. Don't forget, AKAPAD.com. Get yourself some trading cards. I love you. And to continue this telethon, where we're not talking about high fives, there's other ways to support me. I'm a living professional. I'm a full-time freelancer. Anything you see on this, like here on this podcast or see in my social media, I make everything. It's all made by me. That's a part of my pitch to you. And you can purchase professional services through akapad.com. That's a pipeline to me if you want to send me a message. But also while you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. You're going to get deals. You're going to get coupons. You're going to get 2 free trading cards mailed to you free worldwide. And they're 2 Wolfpack trading cards, 2 original characters.
for upcoming comic book work. And speaking of comic books, you can go to Etsy, type in Uzi Susie, and that's where you're going to find my mini comic. You can purchase existing issues and pre-order upcoming issues along with bundles if you missed any, like issue 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. There, Uzi Susie is waiting for you. And keep an eye on Indiegogo. A lot of my bigger comic book projects will be available through Indiegogo. All of those updates will be here on this podcast, so if you're a regular listener, I'll let you know. We can rock and roll from there. So everyone, thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to me on social media, AKAPAD69, Instagram, and Xbox. That's right, you can play Halo with me. Just straight up AKAPAD on Twitter, straight up AKAPAD on the Facebook. My business page is there. My personal page is there. Hey, be a personal friend of mine. I don't care. Let's talk movies. Let's talk creativity. Let's talk fun, and just who cares? Do you like, the Transformer movies? I love them. We can talk about that all night. So meet me there and we'll rock and roll. Let's get talking. We got a movie to discuss.